Exterior hilltop day. The girl holds the barrel of a SIG-P... Is that SIG or SIG? How do you pronounce that? Who knows? SIG-P226 handgun against the head of her kneeling brother. Alex, 17, is dressed in weathered clothes, muddy boots, torn walking trousers, and a blood-stained old jacket. On her back is a rucksack with a flask, an old lantern, and a hunting knife fastened to the back. Her hands tremble, holding the gun against her will, distraught. Danny, 19, is dressed in similarly worn-down clothes, but it seems nothing compared to the cuts and scrapes running across his colourless face. He is at peace. He tries to reassure his sister with his eyes, but it is in vain. We watch from a distance, waiting. I presume getting things like costumes and stuff should be quite easy. We can just...
Yeah.
Did you say you'd ask around about prop guns? You said you Okay,
I'll be able to do that, yeah.
Sweet. Anyway, cut to black. Gunshot. Exterior forest morning, 2 days earlier. So also another thing for this is, for the time being, I don't think we'll use a text that says 2 days earlier. I think it can just be figured out. But yeah, we can work on that later.
Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, I get you.
Yeah, people can figure it out. The gunshot echoes around the forest. Danny suddenly looks up.
You know this opening scene? Sorry.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Obviously this is only a very short, like the intro.
Yeah.
Is this meant to like mirror the ending where people are meant, you know, with it being, so people are gonna like, oh shit, he's gonna get shot, but he's not.
Yeah, so basically how the story ends off the script is Alex, she shoots Danny and then she goes to the survivors camp. But instead of just showing it, it's kind of like, I'm being a bit pretentious with how I tell the story.
I get it.
Yeah. The gunshot echoes around the forest. Danny suddenly looks up from his map. Alex clutches his eye. Catches his eye, scared. The pair are sat in a small clearing, resting their legs. Gunshot. Without saying a word, Danny stuffs the map into his jacket and grabs his rucksack, which rests against a log he is sat on. Alex does the same. Danny guides Alex into the undergrowth. They tread as quietly as they can. As they go, Danny catches the sound of heavy footsteps behind them. They move faster. Danny cannot make out anything through the dense forest. He pushes Alex along faster and faster until Dom cannons out of the bushes right in front of the pair, who jolt to a stop. He looks in his 30s, but his scruffy beard makes it impossible to tell. Oh, Madison, do you want to explain to the people listening about the actor for this, if they don't already know?
Oh yeah, so my old drama teacher is able to play this character. He is in like a lot of feature films at the moment, so he's actually a good actor. Yeah.
And who's he playing? Sorry, Danny.
Dom.
The old man.
The older guy. He looks in his 30s, but his scruffy beard makes it impossible to tell. He's well built, wearing a worn tartan jacket and jeans, like a classic lumberjack. If you want to look to the Discord zombie film, you'll see a picture from Hunt for the Wilder People. The older gentleman is what I have in my mind. Insert picture here.
Picture here on the audio. Put the picture here.
I will. The SIG, the pistol in his hands catches Danny's eye. The three face off for a second, shocked. Dom suddenly jogs back into action.
You've got to get out of here.
A demonic body shoots out of the forest and tackles Dom to the ground. The man is helpless. He is torn into by the creature. Danny and Alex stay frozen on the spot. The zombie suddenly snaps its neck to face them. Danny shoves his sister.
Sorry, I had to do it.
That's perfect. That'll get into the final draft. The zombie launches itself at Alex. Danny reacts like a bullet and tackles it out of the air. Man and beast tumble on the forest floor until sorry. That's really tickled me. Until the zombie is on top of Danny. The boy grabs the creature by the neck, desperately trying to force its head away from him. The jaws snap wildly at the air separating them. Danny lets out a scream, trying to summon any last energy reserves. Danny's strength cannot last any longer. The fight is over. Gunshot. The side of the creature's head explodes as it falls dead at Danny's side. So that'll be something Aaron can do. A bit of, hyperventilating. The boy clumsily rushes to his feet. He looks at the monster's carcass in horror as he stumbles away from it. Danny turns to see Dom now propped up against a tree. The arm he used to shoot the zombie drops down to his side. Danny hobbles towards the man, his ankle sprained. Danny drops to his knees next to Dom. He takes in the severity of the man's injuries, horrified. Suddenly, Dom's gun is raised again. This time, it is pointed against Danny's head. Danny freezes.
You know, when I was reading this, thinking about like shot ideas and stuff, the scene, you know, where he actually shoots the zombie, in the head, I immediately thought of doing something like I think it's the very first episode of Peaky Blinders where
Okay.
he shoots, like, ironically it's called Danny Wisban, shoots him in the back of the head.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've watched it. But
No, I have. I can insist.
yeah, like the bit where where it's more focused on Tommy than Danny, and then the blood splatters on his face.
Yeah.
And then he like falls in from, like, it's like an aerial shot above, falls into the boat. We could do something like that with the whole zombie dropping down.
One thing I would say is we've had a bit of a ambitious thought that will involve you, Ryan, of course, as the DP. I'm just going to throw this out there. React naturally. The entire bit in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
One shot.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Wait, let me go back. How long is this whole?
we can use invisible cuts.
The whole thing. The whole thing. How long does it?
Up until I'll give you the exact point we'd cut away. Up until Christ, the bottom of page 4. Up until the bottom of page 4, where it says exterior forest day.
Okay, shoots
That'd be so cool.
It's so intense.
Okay, yeah. So it's until they go to the village bit.
No. Up until the bottom of page 4, we cut to Alex.
Oh wait, where am I at? Alex. Oh yeah.
So we cut away after Danny's face lights up in horror.
What happens before that bit? Takes the gun from his.
And then we cut after Danny goes to get up, but Dom pulls him back.
Yeah.
It's an idea.
I mean, if I severely planned
a
one shot and then more of like normal, we could we could do both. I wouldn't want to like plan the one shot and then it not come off well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I want to plan both of them like in detail, so that I'm happy with them both.
Well, what I was saying to Madison Ben the other day was I've still got a lot of drafts to get through the script, so I'll be working on the script for the next quite a while. So you've got a lot of time doing nothing that you could properly, if you want to plan. You've got time is on our side right now. It's a thought.
Well,
it's
a long one shot, or like in terms of like framing and it's gonna be good. And then I'd probably have to buy like a wireless follow focus or something that Tom could like pull.
That's true. Well, that's an idea. We'll throw it in our little pool of ideas and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, sweet. Okay, where were we? Back on
the dialogue,
bottom of page 2.
Okay, so I'm Dom, is it? And then you're Danny.
Yeah.
What are you?
You're Bit.
Danny slowly looks down at his arm. Blood is streaming out of 2 canine-shaped holes. Danny begins shaking.
No.
It takes 2 days to turn.
You don't understand. We're so close.
I kill you now. Because this is overlapping.
I've got to get Alex to. Please listen.
Or in 2 days you turn into...
No.
Dom pauses.
Please, I've got to get to my sister too.
She's safe on her own.
We're so close.
Let me just edit that.
Don't.
Danny grabs the barrel of the gun from his hand. Dom's grip tightens.
Don't.
I can do it. In 2 days, I'll do it. I have to get her there.
Dom relaxes slightly. His eyes go soft for a moment.
How close?
I can get her there.
Kid.
I have to.
Dom curses under his breath before planting the pistol into Danny's shaking hand. Using Danny's hand, Dom plants the barrel of the gun in between Danny's teeth.
2 days.
Danny nods. Dom looks back into the forest behind him.
I don't know how many more are behind. You're gonna have to run.
Danny nods again. Dom takes the gun from his mouth. Danny goes to get up, but Dom pulls him back. He grabs Danny's hand and forces the barrel of the gun against his own forehead. Danny's face lights up in horror. Exterior.
That'd be a good finish, that, for like a one shot.
As soon as
Definitely.
the gunshot happens, or...
That's the only thing I'm worried about is, like, you can have a long shot, and then you can have, like, a long shot, like 4 or 5 pages.
Yeah.
And it kind of, like, you get used to long shot, and then after, it has to be, like, a good end to go back to normal cutting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of looks a bit weird.
If it stops being a one take and goes back to, like, sort of short reverse shot stuff, I guess that would be really hard, because it would be very jarring, won't it?
Yeah, it, like, sinks on you and makes you think about what's happening back then and not what's happening now, if you know what I mean.
I've also had a thought in between Danny's face lights up in horror, and then cutting to Alex. I thought we could have a drone shot over a forest, and we hear the gunshot, and then we hear like zombies screaming or something.
Yeah, I thought back to the first gunshot.
Yeah.
Like it's like a gunshot, and then gunshot echoes around the forest. He looks up from his map, and then there's another gunshot.
Yeah.
On the first gunshot, I had the idea of like either a drone shot of like above the trees, or like a really really long lens shot. But like you could have I don't know what Erin could do, but you could put like crows flying out of the trees or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, if Aaron can't do fake birds, I could obviously easily add the sound of birds, but it would look weird if the audience can't see them.
Yeah.
Well, write that down.
You don't have to show the birds if it can't be pulled off. Then we can just put birds in and have it.
Funny enough, I was going to mention the same thing, that like when it's a gunshot and it cuts to like a drone footage, it'd be interesting because like it is the stereotype, isn't it, of like a loud sound and birds fly at the forest.
Yeah.
So to do that.
Oh no, let me just write it down. Birds flying after first.
Hi, you know
how I feel.
Yeah, because the first gunshot, that could be quite the sound of the gunshot could be quite far away, and then you got the birds. Then the second gunshot, obviously you're pulling into the scene, so the gunshot can be much more closer and in your face.
Yeah.
If you cut on the gunshots, like because I mean it's a really good transition. I love the transition of like obviously he's there on his knees and she is gonna shoot him.
Because that just I've just thought about that. Because if you cut directly from the shot of them on the hill, and then you hear a gunshot, and then you see the forest, you obviously just assume, oh shit, like that even more reinforces the fact that it's that gun compared to if we just cut to black.
Yeah,
that's a madness. Okay, Madison, what do you think about that?
Yeah, that would work really well.
Sound. Okay.
When I originally read this, I presumed the gunshots I presume they were going to be used like for cuts.
Yeah.
Because they are used quite throughout the script, so it could be worked really well switching between each scene. Especially what you said like the other week about the time between each scene and whether it's been 2 days or 50. I don't know. Yeah,
definitely. Okay, sweet. Okay, nice. I've got that down.
Definitely work.
Right, where are we?
Where are we? Obviously might be a bit early to be fucking dialogue. With the line, I don't know how many more are behind. You're gonna have to run. Instead of just behind, I just like back there. I don't know how many more are back there. The word behind.
You're right.
Behind.
Back there.
I don't know how many more are back there.
Sweet. Yeah, if it's little changes like that, might as well start cleaning that up sooner rather than later.
Just throw it in there.
Cool, nice, good spot there. Okay, so everybody back at bottom of page 4, exterior forest.
Exterior. Wait, one last thing before we carry on.
Yeah, no, go for
it. The brother and sister, are they like when you were saying like I don't know how many more are back there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are they with other people? Like,
the brother and the sister are by them. So the story before we get to the script is basically the brother and the sister. Obviously, they're part of the apocalypse. They were with a group like potentially years ago. They ended up being like the only people left, and all they were given was some coordinates to this like sanctuary, to this camp that's been set up where they were promised safety if they can get to these coordinates. So they're basically traveling alone, just the two of them, and they've been traveling for we don't know how long. It could be years, it could be months, and they're just traveling by themselves to this spot, and they just run into Dom on the way.
I get you, yeah. So it's like an A to B adventure thing, yeah.
Exactly.
And when he says don't know how many more are back there, he's referring to like zombies.
Zombies, yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna shoot himself. So he's like, I don't know how many more are back there. You're gonna have to run. Then fucking decks himself.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Exterior forest day. Alex lies on her front in the undergrowth, scanning the forest around her, terrified. The sound of a zombie screaming in the distance chills her. Footsteps approaching.
Alex.
Danny stumbles into the clearing. His arm is bandaged awkwardly with the same material from his shirt. His face is dotted with dried blood. Alex jumps up from her hiding spot and rushes towards her brother. She slows down as she gets a better look at him.
What?
Danny doesn't stop moving. He nervously checks behind him.
We've got to go.
Exterior edge of forest, afternoon into evening. Danny and Alex crash out of the forest into an overgrown field. Danny is hobbling along badly now, wincing every time he steps with his right leg. All of his attention is on the map he's holding.
This is crazy. Look at you.
We're nearly there.
We can get there tomorrow. You need to stop.
Danny holds up the map and compares it to the terrain in front of him. Alex comes around to stand in front of him.
Wait, so is this map going to be like your average map, or are we going to have one built for the...
I reckon...
Is it going to be like a 3D map?
I reckon a 3D map, what?
Well, like he's like comparing it to the terrain in front of him.
Oh, no, he's just...
The map's got a picture of like a 3D, like an actual picture, not like satellite.
No, I reckon... With my experience of map reading, it's pretty common to like have the map and then be looking at the terrain in front of you kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
I was reckoning we just get an old OS map, beat it up a bit.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. Okay, Alex comes around and stands in front of him.
Danny.
Should be there by nightfall.
Alex turns to follow Danny's gaze.
Just follow this path through here.
Alex's eyes fall on a small cluster of buildings in the distance.
No.
And right over that hill should be...
Alex turns to face Danny.
No buildings.
Danny locks eyes with his sister. She is serious. Danny's frustrated by her protest.
There's only...
We stay away from buildings, that's what you said.
It's abandoned.
We follow the ridge line out of the forest, that's what you said.
We don't have time.
Alex is caught off guard by the outburst. Danny cannot hold her eye. They stand in awkward silence. The sound of a zombie's screech echoes out of the forest. Danny looks at his sister.
Trust me.
So obviously, we're not acting it properly now, but the line "we don't have time" is pretty much the first time Danny's like, "Duh!" He's stressed. Yeah, he's very unhappy. So he'll be like, Christ, we need good actors for this script. That's all I'm saying. We need to be absolutely ruthless with our
casting. Is this scene? Is this going to be like sunset or just before?
Yeah, so it'll be like coming into evening, so 4 or 5 o'clock kind of time. Yeah. The light is disappearing. Cool.
Yeah, I just had like cool thoughts with the whole like the last bit there. The sound of a zombie screech echoes out of the forest, like kind of like maybe like a dolly in to the outside of the forest where they're stood looking back in with like a sunset in the back would look mad.
Oh, yes. Oh my god, this is so exciting.
That would look good.
This is so good. Okay, exterior, before I actually get too excited. Exterior village evening. Danny and Alex stalk through the abandoned village, alert. No noise can be heard except for the crunching of leaves and gravel underfoot and nervous breathing. Alex holds an old hunting knife in her hand. Danny grips onto Dom's pistol. Neither of them dares say a word. Crash! The pair jolt in fright as a metal bin tumbles over on the road, far ahead of them, followed by the demented body of a zombie. The zombie stops in the middle of the road. It hasn't spotted them yet. The pair slowly back away. The zombie looks as if it is about to move on, but suddenly jolts its head up to face them. The zombie screams.
Run.
The pair break out into a sprint. We see the zombie in the distance followed. The distance follows suit. Danny is stumbling badly now, and Alex is soon ahead of him. She turns around in time to see him fall. Alex runs back towards her brother.
No, run.
Alex is beside Danny now, desperately trying to drag him to his feet.
You've got to get to the bridge.
Alex keeps struggling, but Danny's fighting against her.
It'll distract it. You've got to go.
The zombie is getting...
I'll distract it, sorry.
That's right. The zombie is getting ever closer. We can now hear its snarled breathing.
I'm not leaving you.
Alex looks up to see the zombies almost upon them. She grabs Dom's pistol from Danny's shaking hand.
You have to. I'm bitten.
Gunshot. The creature's body crumples to the floor at Alex's feet. Gunshot, making sure. Danny is curled up in a ball on the floor. He is a mess.
So for this scene,
yes.
We've been thinking, rather than just doing like another gunshot thing like with the first zombie, maybe sort of me and Matt's taking it and doing a bit of a fight with the zombie. Because I thought it might be a little anticlimactic if the only 2 zombies in the film just get killed in like, one gunshot kind of thing. So for this scene, we're thinking it might go on a bit longer with like some sort of fight rather than
it's just like harder to kill it.
Yeah, to demonstrate they are actually dangerous because so far,
definitely,
they look scary and stuff, but they get shot once and they're dead. So we might actually have it, be.
Yeah, it's just like harder to kill.
Yeah,
definitely.
We might actually make it a bit of a fight.
Yeah, I think if in the fight we could add like throughout the whole film, like there's constantly this like idea of being bitten, so they could like the zombie could be like close to biting them, and then
Yeah, nice.
I mean, it'd be interesting if the sort of same thing happens where she's fighting off the zombie, much like Danny was, but rather than Danny shooting the zombie and then dying like Dom did, if she actually manages to outsmart, like do something and like stab the zombie in the side of the head or something to show that.
Yeah, definitely.
Unlike Danny, she managed to like kill a zombie without getting bitten, without help, kind of thing, and that would just sort of demonstrate she is actually capable.
Mm. Well, I encourage you guys to get started on that as soon as possible, really, so we can start throwing it. We can get that into draft 2 even.
Yeah.
Also, with the gunshots, and I'm probably better speaking to Erin about this, but are we?
Well, Erin's gonna hear this.
Yeah, we're gonna have like the barrel, like the nozzle of the the shot fire in frame, or are we gonna
I've written it consciously, knowing that Simon obviously won't be over the moon with us using guns, so that we never actually see the gun get fired.
Okay, yeah.
So once I've actually taken this to Simon and properly spoken through the use of guns, then I'll have a proper answer. For the time being, I've written it trying to limit the use of the gun, if that makes sense.
That's what I mean. We've got plenty of time, so if I could do test shots with like a fake gun and stuff, and let Erin get the whole gun flash thing down.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because if we could get it to look like high end standard, then it'd be great.
No, I reckon pretty much once we've properly gone to this first draft, figured out what's going on in our head, we can all just start prepping. For me, that would be writing, Madison, composition and all of the putting stuff together, Ben, sound, you, the cinematography, Erin, just everyone just begins straight away, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, just practicing everything, yeah.
Totally, definitely.
Okay.
Cool. Also, the last thing I mentioned about the fight scene is Ben and Madison, you have my permission as the writer to make Alex go as sicko mode as possible, because in this draft the gunshot kind of represents her reaction to Danny saying he's bitten. It's kind of like her going, oh fuck. So you can write it literally, this is Alex not only fighting a zombie but also her reacting. She's just realised her brother's literally about to die, and her reaction, and she's just getting out all of her anger, so you can make her go fucking mental.
Really interesting.
Absolutely, yeah.
See, when you say something like that, it does make me want to do a thing where she defeats the zombie, and then instead of shooting it again to make sure, just fucking stood there like stomping on its head or some shit. Just like
then we can like proper like
go crazy,
talk through this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, if we do want to stick with like the second gunshot, I'm presuming you've all seen Shaun of the Dead. You know the bit where they like have the fight in the garden, he absolutely batters the zombie up, and then they like turn around and like go back to normal, and then it just like appears behind them with like half corpse. You could do that and then turn around and do the second shot.
Oh, if she takes that and then things is back to normal, but then one final thing. It might we could do it. I don't know. You'll just do it.
But Ben, if we really want to, we can make so many different choices.
Mate, you can
it depends how long I mean, obviously we got to be aware of pacing and stuff.
Don't. All I'll say is don't let it drag. I'll let you guys interpret that how you want, but just don't let it drag. Danny is curled up in a ball on the floor. He is a mess.
I'm bitten, Alex. I'm fucking bitten.
Alex grabs her brother and hauls him over his shoulder. He tries to resist, but he's lost the strength.
It's getting dark. We'll have to stay here tonight.
No.
He tries to push her away again.
You've got to get away from me.
Shut up.
Yeah, I'm going to get rid of the shut up line. Her just ignoring him says it all.
Yeah.
She just won't say anything. That was just me.
Definitely. Shut up seems too false.
Yeah, so he would say, you've got to get away from me, and she just won't say anything. She'll just carry on dragging him.
Just like
and he'll just give up, yeah. He does, I reckon her just ignoring him, and then we'll get a reaction from him being like...
Yeah, it's just like she's trying to ignore the inevitable kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the same reason why she's so cheery in the morning, the next morning. She's just trying to pretend it's not happening.
Like it isn't happening.
Yeah. Anyway, interior, abandoned house, evening night. Okay, a thought I had for this was we could shoot the interior shots maybe in Castle Dairy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Okay, fantastic. Cool. Well, that was easy then.
Sweet.
Is the building where Joe's film was in?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just really accessible. Makes our life easier. That would just be all.
I was gonna say, have you got other locations scouted already, like the whole
forest? for the forest, that should be easy enough. The only problem is the exterior village. Obviously we can't get a village, but my dad knows a guy who owns like an abandoned kind of farmhouse thing, so looking at using that. But that's the kind of stuff.
Tom lives in have you seen where Tom lives?
Yeah, that's true, actually.
It is like a super rural place. But getting actors there would be impossible because they'd obviously...
So same with me. I'm super rural, but it's miles away, so it's not really...
Yeah.
You have to get out there and then like bunk him in your house or something.
Well, the thing is,
also the Kendall it is. It's just the easier it's gonna be.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, even now I live in Heysham. I'm about a 30-second walk from Heysham Village. So like, and that
but then you've got to think that's like a 4-hour travel for me or something with buses.
Exactly, getting people. So it's keeping everything as localized in Kendall as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so, for the second draft, I'll be more like I'll keep actual possible things in place. I just kind of So again, I'll write the second draft actually aware of what we're doing.
I mean, the village can be adapted anyway.
Oh yeah, it can literally just be one house. It can be anything. My dad even had the idea of doing the whole scene in an abandoned car, like we can make it that simple if we need.
Oh yeah, just fucking do it in a car.
Yeah, because we can use my car for that. But we've got loads of possibilities with that scene. It doesn't need to be.
Do you still want this scene? Obviously, I would say in this part of the script, being brutal honest, it's probably the weakest part of the script.
Oh, 100%. No, I totally agree with you.
And then, so it goes on for quite a while, like going from.
Yeah, this can cut down a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I was rereading the script yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It goes from them exiting the house to the end of the film very quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, is this whole house scene? It goes from like the middle to the end? I don't know. It just the pacing got a little bit weird with the house scene.
No, definitely.
Because it goes on for really long, and then immediately, basically, like goes to the end. She says, "I have an idea," and then they are at the end of the film. You know.
Yeah.
I think you need like a stronger point to end on than them sitting in a house and then them just cutting to basically being where they wanted to be.
Yeah, so the main purpose of the final scene is just kind of giving the characters time the characters time to like kind of it's them sort of accepting what's going on and that kind of thing. It's kind of like similar from the scene in Saving Private Ryan where they're preparing for the final battle, just kind of reminiscing, that sort of thing. The reason why it's so weak is because I had to write it in like an hour. So this scene, once it's fixed is the word, it will be more sort of intimate, them sort of more about their relationship, kind of closing up that one. And the reason I cut so quickly to the end is just because there's nothing more that needs to happen. Just get to the end as quickly as possible at that point. But yeah, the pacing, it's all a bit rubbish with this scene. So definitely that will be cleaned up.
Yeah.
I am aware of the issues. Draft 2 will mainly just be me crying over this scene. Nonetheless, let's force our way through it. Middle of page 8. Interior, abandoned house, evening into night. Alex forces open the door to the small cottage with her shoulder. The front room is barren, save for 2 dusty sofas and a small table in the corner adorned with some books, old crockery, a lantern, and some matches. Alex closes the door behind her and drops Danny onto the nearest sofa. He falls onto his side. Alex checks out onto the street through a window before pulling the curtains, showering her in dust. Gun still in hand, Alex heads through a door leading to what looks like a kitchen, checking the house is clear. Danny hauls himself into an upright position on the sofa, wincing in pain. He places his bitten arm onto his lap and slowly undoes the bandage to reveal a mess of scabs, flesh and boils covering it. Danny barely flinches. Alex returns holding 2 cans of peaches. The peaches! And an old can opener.
This is going to be so good to light.
Yeah. Guess what
She spots Danny's arm.
Shit.
Alex drops the cans and rushes over to the sofa. She reaches around to grab her flask from the side of her rucksack.
No.
Danny uses his good arm to grab his own flask. Alex tries to force the sadness out of her eyes as she takes it and undoes the lid. Alex awkwardly tries to clean the wound, but it's futile. Alex reaches around to Danny's rucksack and pulls out a t-shirt, which she rips. She begins tying the fabric around her brother's arm.
He said it takes 2 days.
Alex tries not to react to this as she finishes. Alex gets up and brings the wooden table over to the sofa, carefully removing the books and crockery before lighting the lantern. A warm orange glow fills the room. Danny nervously looks out of the window behind him.
Show me where I have to go tomorrow.
Danny glances at Alex. She forces a smile. Danny pulls the scrunched up map from inside his jacket and lays it on the table. Alex grabs one of the cans and begins opening it.
So we're here.
Alex looks at where Danny is pointing. How badly can you pronounce this?
Sethwaite.
Alex smiles to herself.
The coordinates are right here. 257148.
So close.
Just as a little Easter egg, those coordinates actually lead exactly to a place which is one hill and one bridge away from Sethwaite.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Just follow the path at the end of this road till you hit the bridge. Then
Danny trails off. Alex takes his hand.
Then I'll be safe. Danny
nods. Alex hands him one of the open cans of peaches. Danny places. I've just got an image of us having to buy like 20 cans of peaches. I don't know why, but it's really making me laugh. Danny places it to his lips and begins emptying the contents into his mouth. His arm suddenly goes limp and the can drops into his lap. Alex quickly picks up the can and begins mopping Danny's lap with the remaining
buy a peach!
From his ripped t-shirt.
I'm sorry, I should have.
Danny cannot help but laugh at the serious tone in her voice. Alex can only laugh with him. They sit like this for a moment, savouring the feeling of comfort. Danny takes a proper look at his sister. All this time travelling together, he nearly realised how grown up she suddenly looked.
You did good today.
Alex smiles. Her attention falls back onto the map. Her eyes trace back to the countless miles they have travelled since this all began. Begin? What the fuck? All began. Let me just change that. She looks back at Danny, who shares her thoughts.
One more day.
Interior abandoned house morning. Danny's eyes slowly open. Alex is kneeling beside the sofa he slept on. She tries to force a cheerful expression, but cannot hide the exhaustion. She didn't sleep. She's holding a bowl of peaches.
I made breakfast.
Danny tries to... I'm going to have to change the peaches because now they're just making me laugh. Danny tries to haul himself up, but Alex has to help him. He is in a terrible state. Alex places the peaches onto the table.
I have an idea, but something tells me you're not going to like it.
Exterior hilltop morning. Alex hauls her brother along the path leading up the hill. He is no longer wearing his rucksack. He is barely conscious. The pair crest the hill and Alex lets Danny drop to the ground. She sits beside him and places his head in her lap. Sorry. As she takes in the view, she spots something that makes her face light up with joy.
Danny, look.
Danny's eyes follow the path to a small bridge on the edge of a forest. His gaze rises to see the 3 plumes of smoke escaping the tree line. Danny takes hold of Alex's hand. He takes Dom's pistol out of his belt and places it in Alex's hand.
We made it.
Alex buries her face in Danny's hair.
We made it.
We watch from a distance now. The pair are sat on a familiar hilltop. They do not speak for a while. There is nothing to be said. All they can do is take in the view.